And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 362. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Marks on Media, and this is going to be his first appearance on the show. So how are you doing, man? And how was your weekend that just recently passed?
Hey man, going good. I got out of the house a little bit, touched some grass like all the people on X keep telling me to do, and YouTube and my YouTube comments, and had it was a good time had by all.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So we
Yep.
will start it off here since this is your first appearance on the show. So just in case you make a second and third appearance down the road, during the show's life expectancy, and to be completely fair, I'm going to be probably doing the show until I'm dead. So we'll probably eventually have like 2,000 episodes actually on the show, which would be insane because every day just putting in show after show, you'd think would burn someone out, but not me. I am still here. So how was your life growing up actually?
Growing up, it was fine. We moved around a lot, I'll say, mostly in Ohio. So any Ohio fans out there represent. And I did live in Arkansas for like 2.5 years, which was an experience. If nobody's lived in the South, like that part of the South, especially, it's different, I'll say. Uh, but it was good. I was my dad, like my mom always used to like mention this. Like my dad, for some reason, wanted me to be like athletic, whatever. And because he wanted to be the dad that went to the sports games, talked about this, whatever. My mom was like, "You're not athletic." Like nobody in her, like my mom's uncle is my mom's brother is athletic, but he's like a freak of nature. He's like nobody knows why. He's like 6'5", and he was great at baseball. He almost got onto the Reds and whatever. But like my mom's like, "You're a short, unathletic dude. Why did you think your son would be any different?" So I turned out to be pretty nerdy. I'm into writing and pop culture and pro wrestling and all that stuff. And it was real quick because before we get too far from that comment, you said you're going to be doing the show till you die. Not really funny, but ironic was I did another show. You can see all the archives on my YouTube channel and whatever, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts. But I did a show called Main Event Marks. Started it during the lockdowns and all that crap in 2020 with my best friend Greg, who lived in California. And we actually did do the show until he died. He died a couple of years ago. He was at a train platform, had a massive heart attack, and it passed away. It was really unexpected. But
That fucking sucks. How did you process that? One of your close friends just dying unexpectedly like that?
It blew ass. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. We'd known each other for 10 years or more. Weird because, like, he lived on the other side of the country. We met playing Halo 3 on Xbox online, and then we bonded because we were both big pro wrestling fans, and we would meet up in like various locations, like for big wrestling events that we were going to. Like first time we ever met in person, we spent a week in New York City for SummerSlam 2015, just touring New York City, having a good time. And then we went to a bunch of shows after that, WrestleMania 34, Survivor Series 2019, right before the lockdowns, and a bunch of other shows too. But those are the big ones that stand out.
So do you ever have like, I don't know, times throughout the weeks or days or months where, you will, I don't know, imagine what kind of, conversations you would both have? I think I've had that
Oh yeah.
randomly with myself, with people that have passed away. Like my mom, I'll have that in my head just every once in a while. It's just like, hey, you imagine what your conversations would be like, but then you realize, fuck, this person's gone. So it just hits you the other way back around.
We had a mutual friend, Ramon. All these people are like people that knew Greg in person, but Greg had introduced them to me at various times. But we have a friend, Ramon, He has a brother, Joe, and then we have another mutual friend, Don, that we're all in a group chat. And every once in a while, something will happen and be like, "Oh man, Greg would have freaked out for this," and Greg's little brother Matt, is in that conversation too. We actually all did on the 1 year or around the 1 year anniversary of Greg's passing. We did a podcast. I split it into two because it went on for a while, but we did a podcast dedication to Greg, kind of talking about. I mean, we talked about personal memories too, but we talked about like memories of like doing wrestling related stuff with him, or how we bonded through wrestling and different stuff like that. Or we like to. I haven't done it in years, but he was big into figure collecting and whatever, like wrestling figures mostly. But and all of our friends are also into collecting various things, so we all talked about that. And yeah, it's like a 2-part episode. And I was like, because I shut the podcast down after he passed away. We were on
Makes sense. Yeah.
We were on we recorded like because my slow months at work are like during the summer, so we had a lot of downtime where I was able to record new podcasts like every day, and we would only put out one a week and then one bonus show a month. And so I banked, because I was like, well, my busy time is about to come up. I banked like 2 months of episodes, and so they ran out a couple of weeks before he died. And then I was like, you know what? I could keep it going alone. I know how to do whatever, but I was like, I'm just not feeling it, and I shut it down. I was going to do best ofs at one point, and I'm like, I don't care. And then I think the next episode I actually did was that one that I was talking about. And after that, I started doing some live stream episodes and putting new ones up about different things. But I don't know. Like, I still like wrestling. I'm just not as motivated into it anymore. He kind of he kept pushing me along, because every time I'm like, I don't know if I really care that much. He's like, oh, you want, like, we gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. I'm like, okay. I mean, it was fun. I did enjoy it. It just, sometimes it was more of a slog than others.
Yeah, that's what happens when you follow stuff that you've been following for a very long time. Like, even the same way for me when it comes to like League of Legends, like, because the season is, as you know, I imagine the same way happens with wrestling too. People don't know, when you do podcasts dedicated to things of that nature. So essentially, with like League, from people don't know, the season starts in January. It starts like the 3rd week of January. Then that shit literally runs all the way up until right now, and then the few weeks also into December, because the off season is when players switch teams, and then you have like all these players switching teams. You have all these rumors and news that come out about one org maybe kind of screwing over another org, or like basically one player would have went to this org, but more money was offered from this org, so you chose between this one. Then you also have like to wait till all the teams are together, so you can talk about all the teams together in a form of like, hey, these are what all the rosters look like now. And you're pretty much just, I've been putting in, I think, so many years of that show. I think we started it in I'm pretty sure the first episode of that show was in 2020. And I've been doing League podcasts for 5 years straight. Like, that's why whenever I talk about we have like off seasons here, when it comes to League show, I just take them off. I take like, before the season starts, we are taking like a 2-week break, because I know if we don't take a break now, we're not getting a break at all for a while. And the breaks are very far between when you do this. So like, for me, I started podcasting the same time you did too. So I did the League of Legends podcast. It probably was the first dedicated show I ever did. And that one is like, I think 300 plus episodes deep now. And then I did my other podcast, which is on my original YouTube channel that I can't really talk about for, other reasons. But I've pretty much restarted my kind of pop culture, movies, television, video games podcast for a while, until I landed on this one. It's like, hey, this is the final time I'm restarting. If I can't get it right this time, I'm completely done, So
Yeah.
this is my literal last attempt at doing it, and it's been going pretty good, actually. I learned a lot from podcasting. A lot of people that don't actually do this don't actually know the bit, like, I would say, the intricate details of doing it. Like, you can't, like, essentially, yeah, it is kind of easy. You do kind of just turn on a fucking computer, you do turn on a camera, and you could start talking, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Like, I find the best shows I do, sort of like the game streams that I do, is the ones where you're having conversations like this. Like, we have one-on-ones, we have like panel shows, right? But to
Yeah.
get to panel shows, people don't understand. You have to build connections with people. Then you also have to bring them on shows, and hopefully they're all compatible with each other and you get along to a certain
Yeah.
degree where you agree and disagree, but you can have fun conversations. One-on-ones are even just as hard because you have to schedule times, you have to schedule a certain date, you have to make sure that person can speak on a show, you have to make sure that that person can have conversations with you have to make sure that person, like, obviously, isn't giving you like one word answers, because I don't know if you've ever had guests that literally gave you one word answers. That shit is complete garbage. I throw those shows
Yeah.
away. Anyone that ever came on that gave me that kind of bullshit, I stopped it midway through. They're like, "What, the interview end early?" Because I'm not wasting my time. That's
Yeah.
pretty much how it works. I'm not wasting my time. If you don't want to be here and contribute to the show's conversation, then I'm not wasting my time talking to you. Like, you just have to be honest with people like that. And it's nothing against
Yeah.
anyone. It's like, hey, I'm essentially giving you the time to talk to me so we can have a great conversation there. And if you're not attempting to have that, why am I here? So I had to learn
Yeah.
a lot when doing this. Like, you have to learn how to upload your shows on like Spotify and podcasting platforms like that. So it's crazy these days, man. Oh God.
Yeah. Like with the guest thing, I know, like, I never, I don't know. I had a few guests that were not so awesome. We didn't do a lot of guests because
Mhm.
like our record times were weird, and at the time live streaming wasn't the thing.
Yeah, I
So
remember. Yeah. Mhm.
so we would record the audio whenever, and then I would slap some video to go with it so I could upload it to YouTube. And then eventually Rumble, when Rumble came along. And I don't know. There was only one guest that we offended by. Like, I didn't come right out and was like, "Oh, you suck" or whatever. Like, I was really nice about it. Like, I felt like I was more or less sold a bill of goods by, like, he was like somebody who frequently listened to the show was like, "You got to have my cousin on." He made it seem like he was like a popular person in like the music industry or something. He did, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then when he came on, I'm like asking him questions, and he had nothing. Like, he did like, I think he did like bar gigs or whatever in his town. And I'm like, "Do you have anything to promote?" No. I'm like, "Okay." And then his answer, like, he was a nice enough guy, but then
He just
at
like
the
like some people just don't have like the it factor. Like, you have to have
yeah,
the it factor. When I bring it up, people don't never understand it. What I mean is, like, someone could
yeah,
essentially talk a big game in a live chat because you're just typing on a keyboard, typing on your phone, your iPhone or iPad, or what fucking people have now these days. But
yeah,
when you come on a show, when you can conversate with someone, like actually have a conversation, it doesn't really matter if it's through the internet. People actually misunderstand this point too. It doesn't matter if you're talking to someone through the internet like this. If you do not know what you're talking about, or you essentially get like stage fright, essentially it's a very
yeah,
light form of stage fright, you are going to freeze up. Like, a lot of people think they just put on a headset and turn on a mic and you can just start talking. Not a lot of people can do that very good. Also, people have to even learn how to speak properly on a mic too. Some people
right,
ramble too much. Some people don't know when to correlate their points together. They're just going off on
yeah.
tangents that are just completely nonsensical to what you're actually going over. So there's an actual skill that you have to learn when doing this. It took me a long time to learn it too, because it's not something that you just self-taught.
I'm
You
still
have,
learning. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I was in I was a reporter in radio for a long time, and
Oh shit.
yeah, and I liked that because, I mean, I did go live with like news reports and stuff like that, but I was like a street reporter, so most of the time my stuff was like pre-recorded. I could cut it and edit it and whatever and send it in. But then they would also, I was like the bottom of the totem pole news anchor. So I would come in on, I do like Saturday mornings or like overnights on the weekends and stuff like that. But I didn't mind that time slot because I'm like, I'd rather be reporting. But yeah, so like that's all like behind the camera, whatever. And at first I was like, I don't know if I really want to stream or whatever. And I still don't stream a whole lot now just because my schedule is so wacky. But
Mhm.
um I will do the occasional on camera, because honestly, those videos are easier because my other videos, um, yeah, I have a script and I can like pre-edit everything, but at the same time, like I'm trying to be a professional writer. Like I've written books, I'm trying to get published and whatever. But like I've always had a passion for writing. If you can't write and you don't know how to write a script cleverly, then it's gonna suck. And if you can't read it properly, it's gonna suck.
Mhm.
So, but you gotta write the script, you gotta read the script, edit your audio, edit the video, like the video that's going to be playing. You got to edit that
Mhm.
in a certain way and get all the stuff you need. With an on camera, when I do those, I've got articles pulled up, and I'm just like, oh, let me read you a blurb from this article and tell you what I think about it and move on. And that's I can slap one of those together in 15 minutes, have it edited. I edit down the audio to make it sound better. Boom, it's up on YouTube and Rumble.
Mhm.
Like, so that stuff is normal. uh but yeah, the like I never judged a guest based on like especially his first time, like, oh, it took him a while to get into the groove with, because Greg and I, like I said, we knew each other for like over 10 years at that point.
Yeah.
We had a good rapport and a back and forth. We knew what would make each other laugh and whatever.
Mhm.
I would purposely throw stuff in there where I'm like, I know this is good. Like Greg was a big, like when he laughed, it was like a big over the top, whatever. That's just his natural. So I knew what would get him 9 out of 10 times, and I'd purposely throw that stuff in there just to get a laugh, and or something that just tickled me, and so I'd throw that in there. Uh, but yeah, these guests would play along or whatever. But most of them were like, it's like okay. But this dude did one show. We were like Greg was like, not good. Like he said a 2 minute match had good psychology to it. Like what the, and stuff like that. And then afterwards, he messaged me like, oh, when are we gonna do this again? Like he thought he was gonna be like the new third, and I'm like, no offense, the show's just us, man. You were a guest. And I was like really nice about it, and he just like never talked to me again. I'm like, I mean, that's fine, but I'm like, I don't want you to get butthurt about it. It's just like you were a one-time guest.
Yeah.
So, and I had a guy that his something happened to his YouTube channel. He did like a live. Oh, I remember what it was. He was part of like a network, and he never had his own YouTube channel. So he would post, like the network he was in would upload his stuff. And the network, the guy who ran the network got kind of spicy online, and he got his channel nuked. So he was so the guy Jacob Grandi, his stuff is still up on my YouTube channel. It's Curtain Jerkin.
Mhm.
But he messaged me. He was like, "Hey man, I know this is asking a lot, but he's like, do you mind if like I piggyback off of you and like I upload my stuff to your YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." I gave him permission, and he had a playlist on there or whatever. And I would have him on the show. He wasn't like the most excitable guy. He had kind of the monotone, talking like this about stuff. But he still knew his stuff. Even if I
Yeah.
didn't agree with all of it, he knew what he was talking about. So I'm like, we can talk back and forth and go for. I was like, can you hold a conversation with me for an hour and a half? Yes. Okay, then you're in. Like
Mhm.
that's all it was. Because there were sometimes Greg couldn't record because he had a life and a job and
God forbid
whatever.
you have a
So
life and a job.
I know, yeah. So there for a while he was like his because he was a barista. His like one cafe shut down, and he'd worked there for so long he'd banked a ton of unemployment, whatever. And he was like, I'm just gonna take some time off, collect unemployment. I saved up a lot in my savings account. I don't feel like working for like I think it was like a year. And I'm like, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
And he'd not married or kids, anything, whatever. He shared the rent with his brother and everything. So I'm like, cool. And so like basically during that year, we could record anytime, whatever. He was pretty much free
Mhm.
unless he was like, can never record Fridays. Weekends are all me. I'm going out on the weekend. I'm like, all right, whatever. Meanwhile, I'm married, and me and my wife, it's like, whatever. But yeah, so like that was cool. But then once he got another job, it was like we record when we can, and that was it.
So
But
you were a radio and TV broadcaster, right? You said
Just radio. Yeah.
just radio. You were a radio hoster. So was that something you wanted to do growing up? That was the initial thing you wanted to be like, kind of like a person that talks on the radio? Because that was the thing growing up, is like putting on the radio, hearing a guy talk, and he play some songs and stuff like that. You know?
It interested me, but it was never anything I wanted. Like honestly, like from the time I was young, I always wanted to be an author, and I'm still working towards that. Like I said, I'm still trying to get published. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in my defense, I haven't sent any of my stuff out yet. I'm really slow at the editing process for everything, so that's why.
Yeah, my
Um,
friend, he's also working on writing his own book too. I think he sends his stuff out to people on Fiverr, like people to read it and to give him like reviews and stuff. I don't know if he's
yeah,
wasting his money. It sounds like he's kind of wasting his money, but
eh,
everyone's got that pitch that they have to, give. And it's usually also going to be like, it's a
yeah.
guy down on his luck. If I hear that again, it's always a guy that's down on his luck. No one likes him. It's like, all right, so fucking hell. How many guys are down on their luck with no woman that loves them? It's like always the
I,
same pitch.
I've got 3 extremely different books, completely written start to
Mhm.
finish. I'm just in the editing process. And one of them, the first book I ever wrote, it was when because the station I worked for was owned by iHeart, and for people that don't, just TLDR history of iHeart, they used to be Clear Channel, and there used to be regulations where like one entity could only own X amount of stations in the country,
Mhm.
whatever, or in a market. Well, I can't remember which president came along, might have been Reagan, came along. It was like, oh, forget do away with that. You can own whatever you want, wherever you want. So Clear Channel went through on a buying spree and just bought like everything. And then it's like, well, when you buy, 5 stations in a tiny market, they don't all make money. So they were losing a lot of money. And then they
Mhm.
fired a bunch of people and just like started pumping stuff in from bigger markets to save money. And they still like they were operating like, and I'm not saying any like insider whatever. This was all very
Mhm.
there's a bazillion articles about this. So um well, when I was working for iHeart, they went through and just canned a ton of people randomly. They were like, "Oh, we have too many people in all these markets." They went through the station in Cleveland was
Mhm.
a big story. They canned almost everybody. And I was like, I don't know, man. But I work for a pretty big station, so I was like, maybe I don't know. I was like the only like street reporter. Everybody else was like in-house reporters. And so I was like hoping against hope. Well, and my boss kept saying, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." Oh, sorry, my camera sucks. Let
Okay.
me fix. Let me fix it. Oop.
Well,
Anyway,
main event. Damn. So the main event needs John Cena and The Rock going at it. That's what the main event needs.
I need to figure. Wow, I'm trying to figure out how to
Or it's
camera.
also like when they say Dave Bautista was the best wrestler turned actor. I was like, I don't know about that. How about that one, actually?
Oh, here we go. Uh, maybe me and my friends were talking about that. We were like, they're very firmly in the camp of like, oh yeah, definitely. Oh, there we go. I'm like, maybe. Uh, I, I mean, you can make an argument for it. Like he's done more like dramatic stuff, whatever. Whereas
Oh, true, true. Yeah.
The Rock just did the Smashing Machine, but I'm like, I don't know. Like most of the time, he just plays The Rock in different situations.
Yeah. There's
So
been very few movies in recent memory where he wasn't being like The Rock.
yeah,
Very few, far between. Like, I think the last movie he wasn't basically The Rock was, goddamn, maybe Fast and Furious 6? Maybe? I,
this
I,
is going to be hot. Like a lot of people are going to get pissed about that. I hate the Fast and Furious movies. Hate them. Like I watched the first one,
yeah.
and because this was back in the 20 teens. I don't even remember when, but I had a couple of Greg and another friend of ours at the time. They
Mhm,
kept telling me, they're like, dude, you gotta try it, because I never really sat and watched them. Because I didn't
mhm.
care. I'm like, they're car movies, whatever. I don't care. And they're like, no, you don't get it. You gotta watch it. And I'm like, okay. So the only one I'd seen in its entirety at that point was Tokyo Drift because it was on TV at my friend's house one
And
day.
that's
Or
an
like,
actual bad movie. That movie sucks.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh, no, 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 don't judge it off of that." I'm like, "I'm not. I just don't care." But they're like, "Well, you got to at least try it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I watched the first movie, and then at the end, they're like, "What'd you think?" I'm like, "It was fine. It was okay." And they're like, "Wow, that's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't." And they're like, "Well, then you can just." I'm like, "Maybe they get better." They're like, "No, you can just give up. If you didn't like that one, you're gonna hate the rest of them." I'm like, "Okay." But yeah, I don't know. Those are me and my friend Don always like he's a contrarian asshole and he knows it. But we always talk about how those movies just blow ass. But Greg's comeback was he was like, "Well, they make a ton of money." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't be made. I just said they suck." Like,
Yeah, like I think people's measurements for when they have conversations like that always skew in the most weird ways.
yeah,
So their argument is like they'll ask you, and so the conversation starts off with, "Hey, did you like that?" And you'll go whatever variation of word you want to use, great, good, average, okay, whatever adjective you want to
yeah,
use for a movie to describe their experience, and then they'll say, "But it made a lot of money." I'm able to understand this. A movie making a lot of money is nowhere near indicative of quality of a film. That just
dude.
shows that people were just interested in watching that particular movie at that specific point in time, and it could also mean that movie has a big fan base that wanted to go support it. There's many reasons why like a movie makes a lot of money. There are some guarantees, obviously, when movies are coming out, but nowadays when it comes to like movies, they barely break even. I'd argue
Yeah,
most don't even really break even. Most movies are like completely just flopping. That is actually not good
yeah,
for movie theater or movie scene in general. But it was
yeah.
always like movies like Captain Marvel. They're like, it must have been good. It made $1 billion. No, it was luck. There's
It
things
was
that are
well,
also luck too, because
it was with Captain Marvel specifically. It was required reading for Endgame
yeah,
because that's what we were told as Marvel fan. Nowadays, that doesn't work. People don't just do not care about the Marvel Cinematic
yeah,
Universe, um, in a large portion, not like they did before. But back then, we were told to understand Endgame, you have to watch Captain Marvel. We
yeah.
said okay, and back then there was not a fire hose coming from the MCU. Now it's like I don't care at
Mhm.
all. I just nothing. Even Daredevil, I kind of cared, but I was like, I don't know. You just can't persuade me. I heard Loki season 2 was good. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of
No,
over
no
it.
one could get me to check out Loki season 2 after season 1 was so trash. Season 1 was so garbage. I hope you actually know when we were, because the thing that average people are so dumb about. When these shows first came out, what we did back when I had my original channel was that we just did watch parties for these episodes. So 12 my time would be like almost like maybe 2 for you, 3 p.m. EST for 3
Yeah, that'd
a.m.
be 3 for
EST.
me.
Yeah, so it'd be like 12 for me, 3 for you. We watch these episodes, and very rarely, I'm saying very, very rarely, there'll be an actual good episode in these seasons. You would get like max the one good episode. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you do this, guys, for weeks on end. Then what ended up happening was you saw obviously you had WandaVision. Then like that was just a fucking dumpster fire. Then you got like a week break, and then that was when the Super Bowl happened. That week break, and then you had Falcon and Winter Soldier. That
Mhm.
ends. Then like there's a 2 week break. Then you get Loki. So they actually shotgun 3 TV shows at you in less than 4 months.
Yeah. And the thing is,
And Loki was horrible. Loki was so. I was like, what?
it was
At least Falcon Winter Soldier. At least you had action. At least there was some level of
yeah.
like something there, like John Walker or Wyatt Russell's character. At least he was
Yep.
something interesting to follow. WandaVision was just fucking stupid, and Loki was just
Well,
nails on a chalkboard. Like,
I
fuck.
well, those shows specifically, at the time, my wife hadn't
Mhm.
completely fallen out yet.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So she was still.
she she's still she's a big nerd like me,
Oh,
and
okay.
um, not into some of the stuff that I'm into, and vice
Mhm.
versa. But we intersect in a lot of things. Like,
Yeah.
um, so we were still both kind of into it. We watched WandaVision because we were like, oh, this looks new, interesting, whatever. It was different. and we really liked that, and some of it was slower and whatever, but there was a lot of mystery boxes and this and that. And the thing is, I like that, but when you get to the end and you open all the mystery boxes and it's just box after box of poop, like I don't care anymore. You just ruined the whole story. I couldn't give a and I know what everybody's going to say. They're going to point to because she's a black woman, but I did not care about Monica Rambeau
Her character
at
was just
all.
useless, like Photon. Well, what's even
Yeah,
worse is like she
I never.
could have
Who heard of her before?
no one.
Before
I
that
mean,
show,
no, there's
that was my
definitely not a
point
lot of
with her.
people.
Yeah, nobody knew who the hell Photon was or Monica Rambeau, and we were like, oh, she's attached to Captain Marvel. Cool. Another person we don't care about, and they just keep jackhammering her into stuff, and it's like, quit trying to make fetch happen. Like we don't care. And so they ruin that, and then that what's her name, Agatha, there was a meme about her that went viral, so Marvel and
Oh,
their
for
infinite
that
wisdom,
song she did in the show. Yeah,
yeah, and where she does the wink and whatever, and like
yeah.
Marvel's infinite wisdom decided, oh, she needs her own show, which tanked, nobody cared about. And then I got ripped so hard on my YouTube channel
Mhm.
because they said, I don't know if you had seen the clips, they were doing like red carpet interviews of
Oh,
all the cast members.
mhm.
And I don't know who this guy, I can't stand this weirdo, but he's
This
a
one that sounds like a huge FAG, right?
yeah, the bundle of sticks word. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he interviews everybody and he has the most annoying voice. That's why I hate, and all of his questions revolve around,
You know.
LGBT stuff, whatever. And I'm like, whatever. But they put a compilation of him saying it over and over, and he was like, this I heard that this is the gayest Marvel show of all time. And all of them were like, yeah, like some of them were like cooler about it than others, and they were like, oh yeah, I love it, whatever, it's super gay and blah blah blah. And then others were like, yeah, yeah, yay gay, whatever. And just tried to move on because my thing was, I don't care if it's gay, whatever. But why is that a selling point? Oh my god, you got to watch this, it's super gay.
Mhm.
And that was a major selling point. And or they tried to make it a major selling point, just like
Mhm.
the Eternals. Oh my god, it's saving lives because it's diverse.
Yeah.
I liked, and people are because like I'm pretty, especially if you watch any of my content, I'm fairly right leaning about a lot of stuff, but I like diversity when it's not, you're like, oh my god, this is what it is diversity. Because like I don't, black, white, brown, whatever, if the whole, unless it makes sense for the thing you're doing, like I like diversity of characters. It's like I don't want everybody to look alike. It That annoys me, unless, like I said, unless it makes sense for like a time period piece, or like it, same thing like if you did a movie based in like northern Africa and you've got like more than 50% of the people there are white or Asian, I'd be like, what is going on? uh that's why everybody was so mad about Yasuke being the main character in the one Assassin's Creed game in feudal Japan.
Mhm.
It's like you play as a big black guy. Like, I have nothing against like like any of that, except for like we're finally in feudal Japan. You're going up against games like Ghost of Tsushima, and you're
Mhm.
like big black guy. Like, okay. But anyway, sorry, long way around to get there.
Oh,
But
that's fine.
with the Eternals, that the diversity totally made sense. But then they just beat that into you. They'd be like, "So what's the movie about?" "Oh, there's a lot of skin color in it." Cool, dude. Like,
Easily
what's the
one of the worst, easily the worst MCU movie ever made, and that's actually crazy
yeah,
because that shit was made in 20. That shit came out in 2021, so it was made, it was produced, its production was in like 2020 or some shit,
yeah.
and that by far and away is the worst MCU movie because it's so stupid logically that I don't do this that other people do when with their kind of logic when they watch your movies. I don't care how crazy something is because we are in a fantasy world. I actually don't really like when superhero movies are doing that realistic thing. And the only way I really liked it is when like Nolan did it with those first two Batman movies. I don't really like when superhero movies take that approach anyway because,
I like the third
well,
one too. I know a lot of people don't, but I
oh,
do. Bane.
you're a mic.
Oh, my, is it off?
Oh, you're good. Your mic cut out for a little bit
Good.
there.
Oh,
You're
sorry. I
good.
was gonna say I like the third one too. A lot of people crap on it, but it's not perfect. It's got a lot of flaws, but I liked it.
It's one of those things where I think me and my friend will have conversations about this with like Superman. I try to point out to him when people say these things, they want their superhero movies to be realistic, and I've always said this for years. That's a contradiction. You can't expect something that's not real to have realistic qualities because it is not real. And it's always going
Yeah.
to obviously we don't know what superheroes would do in our real world because superheroes literally aren't real. They do things based off of our own life experiences. I would just prefer if superhero movies just kind of stopped involving realistic things because it's just not possible. Like it's not, guys, it isn't possible that Superman would ever exist ever, right? So expecting him to do realistic things that you would do is unrealistic. That's why Superman is a guy, or Clark Kent is a guy who's just sees good in everyone. He saves people, all this stuff. It's still crazy, even to this day. People think that there can't be someone like Clark that is just a good person all the way around. Yeah, because it's not supposed to be realistic. Like it actually isn't realistic that someone is just that always thinks of the good in someone, that always wants to help people, that doesn't really think of anything bad. That is unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun. It's fun to really
I
to like think about these things and ponder. Like, hey, if someone is that good, do they
yeah.
not get like sad? Do they not get down? Do they not understand like there's certain moments where humans are bad? Like that's the fun part. Like if Clark Kent was a realistic dude like me and you, he would not be interesting. It wouldn't be because no one wants
Yeah.
to read about dudes like me and you because we're normal
Well,
dudes.
and I talked about this before where like my issue with, do you watch The Boys at all, or have you?
I know I've seen clips of it. It's I
Okay.
know I have actually. I think I have one of the comic books over there. It's a series where it basically kind of deconstructs superheroes
Yeah.
like Homeland. I know Homelander from the comic books is way different than he is in the show.
Yes and no. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean they did change a lot, but
Do you prefer the comic books or the show that came out?
I'll be honest, I haven't read a lot of the comics. I've read excerpts from like different issues and whatever.
Yeah.
But I watched the show. I'm caught up on the show. I haven't watched season 2 of Gen V, which is like the spinoff of it, whatever. But I did watch season 1. It was okay. But this is my thing, like I said, I'm fairly right leaning with a lot of stuff, but
Mhm.
I people were going on, oh my god, in this last season, season 4 of The Boys. They were like, The Boys went woke. I'm like, The Boys has always been woke. From episode 1, The Boys was woke. Like that's what it is. But it was also entertaining. We knew, like, I watched a lot. South Park has been woke and not woke and whatever from time to time, and I've always, until recently, I've fairly enjoyed South Park. I've kind of, I don't know if I outgrew it or they outgrew me or whatever, but I don't care about South Park anymore. But that's why I was like, to all you people on the right complaining that The Boys went woke, you're all dumb. Like, because like it's always been this way. Eric Kripke, who makes the show, never hid that fact. And it's like you either watch it or you don't watch it, but it was never right leaning in any way, shape, or form. They mocked Christianity all the time and whatever. So it's like it is what it is. But yeah, those kind of, oh, my camera did it again. But
So now you're black like me. God damn, man. Ugh. Even I don't want to be black. I need to be
oh
white
man.
now.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, all right. Let me unplug this stupid thing, plug it back in. Anyway,
You're good.
I'll talk while it's loading back here. Hello?
Hello.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Sorry. The new season of The Boys I think comes out soon, or maybe I don't know. I don't think it's already.
Did it finish? I don't remember honestly.
It's like the final, like
The Boys' final season release date sometime 2026. They said.
Coming out before Christmas. Wow. Okay. Well, either way, I'll watch it just because I've stuck with it so far. I'm like, whatever, I'll finish it out.
Yeah.
But uh I'm just so over the let's see what superheroes were like if they're assholes. Like I I don't know if you remember the James Gunn movie Brightburn that came
I
out.
watched that. Yeah.
That I liked it. I saw it in theaters actually. Um, I really liked that. I watched I still got to catch up season 2, but I like that show Invincible. But
I
again,
watched
it's
season
just
1. It was pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Even though it's a Seth Rogen show, I like it. But
Mhm.
it, I don't know. I'm so over it. I'm like that's why a lot of people dogged on the new Superman, but I'm like I liked it because for today's times, it's different. Because yes, it's wacky, it's colorful. I didn't love everything about it, but Superman is just a good dude. I didn't like what they did to his dad.
Yeah,
Not
and
trying to
then
give
when James Gunn
spoilers,
had that
but
interview, it's the same thing with the Superman movie for me too. I felt like I didn't like it. When I watched it, I had a good time, but it's this thing of like when you hear James Gunn talk about why he made the change with his dad, it wasn't like a change where he was like, okay, this actually will affect the story in some grand way. It felt like he only did it to make his Superman movie stand out because he had said, I wanted to make my movie. He specifically said, I remember he wanted to make his Superman movie stand out. It's like, James, your Superman movie would stand out by default because it has more than Superman in the movie with as far as superheroes. Like his
yeah,
Superman movie was going to stand out regardless anyway, based on the characters he was including in the movie. It's like, I understand that Jor-El, there is instances in the comic books where Jor-El isn't like the Jor-El that is usually portrayed in Superman media. But the reason why people actually like the Jor-El that's the guy that sent him to Earth to be a good guy. They like that version the most. And just changing
yeah,
it,
and it makes
and
sense.
yeah, and also just changing it for just because you want to stand out. That's not a good reason for anything to do it. Like
And it was a
that's same,
terrible change.
and that's the same thing people criticize Zack Snyder for. It's like you did the same thing Zack Snyder did, just changing shit because you just wanted to change it. There's no logical reason behind changing half this shit. It's just like,
Yeah,
hey, I just want to stand out. It's like, dude, you would have to make some massive headcanon in your head to make that change actually applicable, which you
yeah,
could, but it's still like it's still in a needed change, in a necessary change. Actually, I think that's the reason why a lot of people dislike the movie. I don't think it's because of anything else. It's just that specific moment just really just shot people's fucking. They're like, really?
well, they have to
Also,
make
he was
it.
too weak too. He was a very weak character. He needs to be a
Yeah,
little bit more stronger. You know, if it's Superman,
yeah.
you gotta be way more powerful than that. But James Gunn also said his Superman wasn't gonna be as strong too, so kind of figured that was gonna be the thing going in.
I didn't mind it too much nerfing Superman a little bit because it's like, I mean, what are you gonna do with Superman, But
Yeah.
um, at the same time, like my thing was like, I don't like all the sequel bait in everything. I know what he's trying to do, but
Mhm.
it's like, man, and like the standout of the movie for me was actually that was it Ultraman or
Mr. Terrific, right?
Mr. Terrific? That was it. Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific was he was a cool character. He was like the deadpan funny kind of stuff. But man, I know it's James Gunn superheroes,
Mhm.
but man, there were so many parts of the movie where I'm like, this feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like especially that part where again spoilers, but like Mr. Terrific like puts that protective bubble around Lois, and then they're playing like some random 70. I think it was like a 70s
They
or
chose the
80s
wrong
song.
song. It felt like that song didn't really go with that moment. They needed something more, a little bit
Yeah,
more. I would say like needed more something like more killer oldies. That would have made that song. That would have made that scene
yeah.
pop more.
I
I don't
think it was
like the
supposed to be contrasting, like, it's like
yeah.
that's why he went with it because it was weird,
Because I'm
but
not a because at the end of the movie Superman's like that's pretty punk rock. I think another problem with the movie is it's a very slight
yeah,
criticism of it. I'm not a punk rock guy. I don't really like that music kind of like at all. Honestly,
yeah,
I don't really vibe with that shit at any point ever in my life. I just don't like that kind of music choice for Superman. You know, like the movie kept having that punk rock score. It's like I don't like this. Please, it's burning my ears. Like any guy that ever
yeah.
screamed into a mic with like screamo, it's like no, no, that was never good. Who liked this? You were a weirdo.
I like, my wife is actually into, like, she's into rougher music than I am for the most part, like, she likes all of those screamo bands and whatever that
Yeah.
I like some of it. If
Mhm.
if more if more than a third of the song is screaming, I can't do it, but, um she's into all that heavy stuff. I'm into some of it, but yeah, I don't know. The music was okay. It had a lot of like vibes of Guardians of the Galaxy to me, because
Mhm.
just certain scenes where I'm like, all right, and I'm like, we're getting a Supergirl movie, so maybe they'll flesh it out a little bit more. But like the one quick scene we got of her made her
Mhm.
seem like a drunk party girl, and I'm like, that's not
I think
Supergirl.
I don't think James is gonna put any thought into that. I think he just did what you just said a second ago, which was the whole sequel bait thing, because he wanted to get people to know that Supergirl's coming out next, so they just threw in there. I don't think there was any actual logic behind that. I wish they did put some logic behind it. It's like, hey, her first impression. This is a saying that is just in life. If you guys have actually lived it, first impressions do matter on people. That's a thing that actually does, maybe makes or breaks you getting opportunities in life. And if people's first impression of her is she's a fucking drunken slut bag, we know she's sucking on a whole bunch of dick on the other planets. I just know that for sure. She's probably getting gangbanged or some shit like that. Yeah, that's
Damn.
probably not going to be people's first impression that they like of her. But her next movie, it'll change all that. Good Lord. Yes, in life, I should just hope you just do something instead of just taking, I don't know, for what you are in front of me. People got to stop doing that with movies. Like, hey, that's what we have of her. Also, we have no clue what she's going to be like in her next movie. I have no clue what she's going to
Yeah.
be in her next movie at all. Like, there could have been a world where Superman fucking fails completely at the box office, and we never get a Supergirl movie, and that's the impression people would have of that character, because we know people don't read comic books, so her first impression, a lot of people, is just that. Yeah, that's not a good idea. But then again, them putting thought into these movies has not been a thing in quite some time, so why am I putting more thought into it than they are?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't get as into the superhero stuff anymore. I did not watch season 2 of Peacemaker. I saw the first episode and I was like, I don't know if I care anymore. Season 1 was fine. Um, but then like in the first episode of season 2, we've got like a 5-minute orgy scene of him walking around the house like after they do a bunch of coke. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not like oh, my little virgin eyes or whatever, but it's like after a while I'm like, we get it, you're edgy and cool and whatever. And then this isn't a spoiler because it was literally all over the internet.
Mhm.
But he has if anybody watched season 1, his KKK father there
Yeah.
made all of his equipment, because he made his own equipment when he was like a supervillain, and then he made all of Peacemaker's
Mhm.
equipment. And he has like a pocket dimension, kind of like, if here's a super nerdy reference, but like Doctor Who, when you
Yeah.
open the TARDIS, it's bigger on the inside. Well, the pocket dimension is like in his closet where he's got all of his stuff.
Mhm.
And in season 1, it was just that. In season 2, he walks into the pocket dimension and there's like other doors to other areas and he doesn't mess with them. Well, his Eagly opens a door and he's like, and he follows him and he's like, oh, in this dimension my brother's not dead, my dad's a nice guy,
Yeah.
I'm engaged, whatever. And it's like, it's a perfect life, he lives in a mansion and all this, and everything's great. And then he accidentally kills his his other self. And this is all in episode 1, by the way.
It's
And
also in the
then
trailers too. They had spoiled a lot of it in the first trailer too. I remember seeing a
yeah.
lot of that. Yeah,
Well,
fucking
and then
crazy.
he brings all of his friends in there to check it out, and come to find out it's a Nazi universe where
That's
everybody's a Nazi. And it's America, but America, if Hitler had won and somehow the USA was still able to stand. And I'm like, and I know left wingers are using it to dunk on right wingers, but like they're like, "Oh, you just don't like it because you identify with Nazi." Like, no, we don't like it because it's been done a million times and it's boring. Like,
Mhm.
that's my point at this point. I don't get offended by that stuff. I
I don't think anyone
dislike
actually does. I think that's just their angle of like, hey, you got mad at
it
it because
cope.
you are this, and it's like, no, I just it's that thing that people do when they talk about movies. I could know why something happened and the intricate details of it happening. I just also people need to understand this though. You could also not like it. You can choose to like it, and you can choose to
Yeah.
not like it. People just don't like it, and it's like a trope that's just done too much at a single point. It's like,
Yeah.
why did they stop doing the trope of like the black guy dying first in horror movies? Yeah, because people got bored of it because it wasn't exciting anymore. So
Yeah.
this whole like Nazi thing that these companies are doing with some of their movies or television shows. Like it's not exciting anymore and it's boring, and that's why it's considered now a trope. And like it,
Yeah.
that's just so odd. And also keep in mind, I remember there was a scene that got leaked on Twitter, and I saw it. I was like, wait a minute, whoa. James can also prove something with that episode, that if a neighborhood is full of white people, no blacks, it's ran better and it's no crime and it's peaceful. What are you telling us, James? You a
You're
double
not
agent
supposed to
here?
figure that out.
James, you a double agent?
You're you're not supposed to notice that. You're not supposed to say that kind of stuff out
Oh, but
loud.
wait, they were all Nazis. It's so crazy how if in that episode they were all considered Nazis, but they all lived in. I just find that very odd. Like, what the
Not one
fuck?
basketball to be seen. Not one. Uh,
Oh god,
yeah,
the
I know. I like, man, that kind of stuff. Just like I'm like, oh my god, it's not that it's like, oh, I'm offended. It was like I don't give a damn. My thing is just like, is this like your one thing? Like we
that's
have
been
to
their
go
only
after
thing for a
Nazis.
while. Yeah, at this
Even
point.
Indiana Jones tried to change it up in the 4th movie. That I mean, the movie sucked, but they were like, maybe we
Mhm.
should go with the Russians now, because
Yeah,
like we
it's
spent
always the
3 mo
Russians or it's like Nazi Germany. It's always that. It's always the biggest thing. Like, remember the movie of Inglorious Bastards in the trailer? Brad Pitt was like, "We're gonna be doing one thing only: killing Nazis." You see, that's funny. That's kind of fun. That's how you innovate on stuff like that. You make fun dialogue around it,
well,
but not
plus it
this.
was like a remake of an existing property that was like
Yeah, yeah,
so and at the time, it hadn't been done to death.
yeah. It
Like,
was like what 2009. Holy crap, that was a long time ago. Fucking
yeah.
hell.
Yeah, no
I was
kidding.
a freshman in high school. Holy crap, I was not rich and not good looking and not tall.
Hey, so nothing's changed, so that's good,
Right?
but
I'm just now tall, white, and good looking. See? That's how it works
no,
now.
you're dark-skinned. That's what it is.
Dang
Dark-skinned
it.
white.
Damn it.
Dark-skinned
Damn it.
white.
Now my
Uh,
parade's ruined. Fucking hell,
yeah,
man.
but,
Oh, because I know
all
we have to wind down here in a little bit. Go about
mhm.
15, 20 minutes. So the last few things I want to hammer on before we head out of here is because you said you're married. How did you meet your wife?
College. Well, it was college. It was,
Mhm,
we she had no idea what she wanted to do with her life. She actually didn't figure out what she wanted to do with her life until her mid-20s, after
mhm,
we got married and been living together for a while, and, I was floundering. I thought I wanted to be a computer, like a I wanted to get into like video games some way, shape, or form. And
mhm.
I went for like you have to go for programming and coding and whatever.
Yeah.
I went to a college for that for like a semester, hated it. And I was not good at it. And so I dropped out and was trying to figure out what to do. And I went to this broadcasting college. And that's how I got into radio. And she started because they had a music producing degree there as well, and she was doing that. Turned out she dropped out. She didn't want to do that either. But we met there and been together ever since. And yeah, so I stuck with it. I actually followed through with my degree for a little bit and found
Mhm.
out there was no money in it. And then my degree or my not my degree, my position at the company
Right.
was eliminated. Like
Mhm.
I was fired, but I was fired for, not because it was like, "Hey, you suck, you're gone." It was like, "We no longer need this position in the company, so we don't need you." And that kind of sucked, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I ended up getting I fell ass backwards into IT, and now I do make money. It's pay the IT job I've had for the last what is it going on 7 years now. It's paid for my first house and now my second house. So
You have two houses. Oh shit. Okay.
well, not any. No, I sold my last house. I mean, I upgraded.
So,
So
did you find it hard selling a house in this current landscape?
no, actually, because the I had it was like a really nice starter home, and that's what
Mm,
we turned we it was a small house with a small yard in a nice neighborhood. It wasn't like a pristine neighborhood, but like low crime, whatever, and everybody was pretty friendly and quiet, except for the mechanic across the road would rev his crap up a lot. But we were like 5 minutes from like multiple grocery stores and fast food places, whatever. And this
mhm.
old couple was wanting to move from like a ways away to be closer to family. And they're like, oh, it's just us in our like 70s and our dog. They're like, it's perfect. And they paid over asking price. So I was like, cool.
As
Um,
someone who's recently got a house, there's so much paperwork you have to
oh my
sign for the
God.
house. Then there's
Yeah.
inspections. There's just, oh my god, I can see why a lot of people don't want to do it. But it is worth it. At the end of the tunnel, the
Oh
light,
yeah.
it is worth it. But the
Oh,
actual
so much.
process
Yeah.
of doing it is just, good lord, they want to know like how much money you've made, any difference in it in like a few months, a few weeks. They need a like what, like a track of bank statements that go like a year.
When I got my first house, I was actually an IT contractor. And
Mhm.
if people don't know, if you're self-employed, even if you've been self-employed doing the same thing for like 20 years, that is a check mark against you. And
Really?
if
Oh
you're
shit.
a yeah, and if you're a contractor like with where you don't have steady work, that's also a check mark against you. It sucked. But I bought my house in 2020, in the fall of 2020 after the lockdown started. Ohio wasn't opened up fully, but I think Ohio locked down a little later, and then like our state legislature told our governor, it was like, dude, you're opening us up, period. So like by like the summer of 2021, they're like, this is over, open it up. Um, but either way, um, I was contracting, but I had been contracting long enough and making enough money doing it and because of the lockdowns actually and everything being such a mess, they were able to finagle some paperwork and get me into the house, which was nice. And the house we have now is huge. Like, I mean, well, huge for me. I've never been in a house this big, but um, not much of a yard, but it's in a nice little kind of country town where stuff is still close. And
Mhm.
the only reason I was able to, it was built, this house was built in 1860.
Good lord.
Yeah, it's been updated here and there since then, but the woman that owned it before us lived here for like 20 to 30 years and let a lot of stuff go that we're currently dealing with.
Mhm.
But that's the only way we were able to afford a house this size was because it was not in pristine condition. And she, according to a neighbor, she took a loss on the house. But I, I'm
Right.
like, you left us with a lot of crap to do, so I don't feel that bad for you. but but it's a nice house, and
Mhm. Do you guys
we're
have kids?
not yet. We're working on it, but we have a big dog and 6 cats
Hey, we
because
heard him. He's a big dog. That's a big
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah, she's a big old like 80-pound Great Pyrenees. So
Is she friendly with people? She doesn't like bite or anything,
oh
right?
yeah, no, she'll bark until you offer your hand, and then she's like, okay, you're not bad. Like, and
Yeah.
and mom or dad have to reassure her. It's like it's okay. Like, and
Mhm.
then like she has jumped. It was funny. Right before we moved, my dryer
Mhm.
took a crap on me. Um, and it was like right outside of my office in my old house. And I put a baby gate up so she could not get out of my office and mess with the guy. He just turned around to like show me something, and she jumped up like in defense mode. Woo, 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 woo. Like I'm like, you're okay. But we got her because Great Pyrenees are they're not herders, but they're guardian dogs for like farms and whatever, but they're
Mhm.
also good in the house. And because we have 6 cats that rule the house, um, we had a foster dog that like snapped at one of our cats and kind of
Ooh.
freaked us out. So our dog now, she knows the cats rule the house, and they'll try to steal her food, and she'll like stand there like she's waiting in line, like nothing. And then they'll turn around and smack her, and she's like, "What the hell did I do?" But she doesn't chase the cats, bite at the cats. That like she's great with them.
And the
So
cats would go with the dog too?
yeah, they don't like when she gets overly excited and whatever. They'll go run and hide, but for the most part, they're fine with it.
Because you said you before you have like 6 cats or some shit. That's fucking
Yeah,
insane. Good
yeah.
lord. Most people can barely handle one.
Her we're we're suckers. And before her grandma passed away, she had
Mhm.
barn cats that kept freaking producing, and we fostered most of them out. We were big into cat fostering for a while. We got most of them adopted out, but these 6 just we kept them. So
And what about your parents? Do you still have your parents around, or they've like passed away or whatever?
so my mom lives on the other side of the state from me by her family and where all my
Okay.
family is from. And my dad, they got divorced when I was I don't know. I was with my wife at the time, but they got divorced and he got remarried and moved out to Kansas. So he lives way out there.
So your mom lives in Ohio with you, but your dad lives in Kansas. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see him too often. Like we talk, but I don't see
Yeah.
him too often because it's like trying to fly to Kansas is crazy just because it's not a place that people go. So you
What do
pay
people do
like
in Kansas? I always wonder what people do in like Nebraska or Kansas. These are states you just
he my dad is the complete opposite of me. I'm like very introverted. He's
yeah.
a very extroverted social guy. He was in the
Mhm.
Marines. He like all this stuff. So he's got big giant friend groups out there that they all get together and do crap all over the place. He's having the time of his life. I'm more like my mom. Like my mom has like a few friends that she'll get together and do stuff with, but that's
Yeah.
it. And yeah, so he does that out there. He goes to work and hangs out with his buddies and his wife, and that's it. And
How old's your dad? He'd be like 56-ish years old.
yeah, he's going on. How old am I? 35. Okay, so he's 25 years older than me. So he's going on 51
Dang, you actually had the middle class lifestyle.
or
Both
56,
parents, both
something
both
like
both
that.
both parents and shit. They did good, and now you're on your own. Good lord, fucking hell, man.
Yeah,
And people
yeah,
wonder why having both parents works like that. Even if they get see, the thing is, if you get divorced when you're like already an adult, it doesn't really matter. It's that people. I think you can understand. It's not that hard. But like when people say, "Oh well, single parents can do it too," no, but no one ever said they couldn't though. That wasn't the logic though. That wasn't even the argument.
right.
The argument was you will be at a disadvantage with a single parent. That's the argument. People don't understand. I think people do get the arguments. They just like getting offended because it just makes them feel like a
Yeah,
victim or some shit or feel oppressed. I was like, how do you not understand basic comprehension like that? The argument is you having one less parent
right.
puts you at a disadvantage. That's what it is. It's not saying your mom is a bad person and your dad
Yeah,
is a bad person. I'm saying they can't do it. Not saying they don't love you, but like this is what the facts are. But my mom loves me. No one disputed that. I hope she does.
right.
Like fuck.
If you succeed from a one parent household, and there are a lot of success stories like that, but you succeeded in spite of
Yeah.
your situation. And yeah, there are a lot of terrible two parent households.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But like my wife grew up in a pretty tumultuous household where like she was born and then her parents got married later on, and because she was kind of an oops, and then they had her sister,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of like her parents ended up getting divorced, and her dad was in and out of her life and whatever, and she turned out okay, but it was like she still has trauma from that and a lot of stuff that she dealt with growing up, and she wished she had a dad more in her life,
Mhm.
so and that's why we had talked about at first, like my wife kind of went through a lot of stages with like at first she's like, yeah, I want to be a parent, and then after we got married, she's like, I don't really want kids, and I was like, well, okay, whatever, if it happens it does, it not whatever. And then once she turned 30, then she's like, that internal clock
Always that
starts ticking.
biological clock. Yeah.
Yeah,
Always
it's
the yep.
undefeated. And she's like, you know what? I actually do want to be a parent. I'm like, okay, so we're working on that. But she always said she's like she knew what she went through in my life, and not to talk crap about my dad or anything, but he grew up without a dad.
Oh, okay.
So he had to learn on his own, and he wasn't the greatest at it and whatever. And I was he was there throughout 99% of my life. There was a couple times him and
Was
my
he
mom
is
had
he a
issues.
conservative too? Were both your parents
Oh
conservative?
god, my dad is hardcore, like, wearing the American flag around, posting offensive crap on Facebook kind of stuff, my mom is like the Bush era kind of conservative, like Christian,
So
whatever.
pretty much almost like classic 90s liberal in that area too.
Um, I would never. uh, she's fairly like socially, she's very conservative. There are
Okay.
just a couple of like policy things that, like, I listen to a bunch of political crap all the time, and like I try to learn. I read books and listen to
Yeah.
podcasts and whatever else,
Mhm.
and I try to educate myself on certain things because there's a lot about our government and stuff that I just don't know that you'll never find out from like a traditional education, be it liberal or
Right.
conservative. So I try to educate myself in just how things work. And me and my mom have some disagreements on certain things, but it's not like, the typical, like, oh, you don't want to bring it up at Thanksgiving kind of stuff. It's just like, like we didn't agree on like when they were going to cut the junk food from food stamps, whatever. And I was very for that because I'm like,
That
the
makes
the tip
sense.
the
Yeah.
typical argument for it is like, oh, so poor people don't deserve snacks. And I'm like, no, they do, but you can pay for it with not my money. And
Yeah,
I was like,
I look at it the same way where it's like I don't know if maybe growing up you didn't experience this, but you know how like you had friends where like their parents would let someone stay with them when they had some downtime to get back on their feet. I look at it like that. I'm helping you, and I don't mind
yeah,
helping, but I get to call the shots here. It would be like when your parents have this is the old saying back in the day. If anyone doesn't know what it is, people don't really say it now. My house, my rules. Well, yeah,
yeah,
if we're the ones funding the bill, I decide what you get. He was like, but that's like dictatorship. In this, if I'm paying it for it, yeah. Also, it's not dictatorship. If on dictatorship, you want to get food, so that's not how that
right,
would work.
yeah.
But if we're
Well, there'd
using
be
logic
bread
like that,
lines.
yeah, if there's like using
Yeah.
logic like that, I get to decide what you get. That's what it is.
Well,
If you don't like it, here, do the thing that we all do. Get a job.
yeah. Well,
You know?
my argument against it was I was like, I think you should have enough food to feed you and your entire family off of food stamps while I don't think it should be unlimited. There was some
Right,
woman that
right.
was like, she moved into the country like 30 years ago and she's been on food stamps since the day she stepped foot in the country. I'm like, how is
Utterly
that
insane.
possible? That means you haven't even tried to get off of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Hmm.
but my thing is like, I know people, I'm one of them from time to time. I live paycheck to paycheck here
Oh,
and
for
there.
sure. Yeah, sucks. Yeah,
And I'm like, I can't, I work 40 hours plus a week
yeah.
and I make pretty good money. There are a lot of times I have to budget my food and I'm like, I can't afford pop or some kind of snack, any kind of snacks at all.
Sometimes
Why?
you question even maybe can't even get a bag of chips. That's how bad
Yeah,
it is sometimes.
I do that a lot. Yeah. And I'm like, why do you who do you don't work get to get all the stuff that I can't even afford on my own because I don't qualify for food stamps?
Yeah.
That was my argument. And her argument was coming at it from a different way because we were on food stamps for a short time when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And because my dad was between jobs and we relocated, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, if not for that, you guys wouldn't have had certain things in your lunches to go to school, whatever. And I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like we would have survived without
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
would have been fine with not getting it. It was nice, but it's not necessary. And considering the amount of like the massive amount of people they said were on food stamps when it shut down for a short time, I was blown away.
I knew. So for me, like with you, we had it growing up because my mom, we were it was a single mom household. She couldn't really get a job or she didn't want to get a job. So we had food stamps most of our life. And right when, because in I'm pretty sure it works for welfare of all states. Literally, if you once a kid turns 18, you are cut off, right? That's why these women have more kids, so it extends the time period they're on these programs. They're not they're having more kids so they can be on these government programs until they essentially die, right? They're not trying to do better. Like and this
Mm,
type of logic where it's because they're in a bad situation and then that must mean that they're all good people and they're just these innocent people that couldn't do no wrong, couldn't be the furthest from the truth. My ex-girlfriend, I'm telling you, I'm being honest, my ex-girlfriend dude works for that type of situation you just said. And she will say I mean she can't really say things publicly because it's government job essentially, so she would actually get fired for saying these things. Like it's one of
yeah.
those California like you cannot speak about these things. If you're a social worker, you're pretty much you get a warning and you're pretty much canned. She really says these people are not innocent and sweet people that everyone keeps making out to be. Because she'll look on social media and the narrative will be these are people that are all down their luck and they all got screwed over. And keep in mind, like you so forth, that can't happen. That's not. But it's
Yeah.
also the opposite, which is true as well, which is like it's a thing where it's both two things can be true. You can be down on your luck, but there's also people screwing the system over, and people use this money, even at my job, for food they not really
Mm,
supposed to have. Like it could be for McDonald's or Burger King, Starbucks. They use it for that. They're selling it for drugs, so they're not using it on the kids anyway. So the logic of, hey, if we give them more money, it'll make things better. It doesn't. They take them more money and they sell it for drugs. I'm not, and people don't believe me. It's fine. but you're not
Yeah.
understanding the scope of what you're talking about. Whenever people talk about it, I'm like, damn, these people are actual fucking idiots. Like, you have these white dumb idiots who will go on TikTok. They'll be like, oh man, poor woe is black people. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You've never been around people like that, and the people you're around are lying to you. They're straight up lying to you. Come on, we spent, like, I think you figured out, I think you said it earlier, we spent so much money to these people, so giving more money hasn't fixed the problem, because that's the stupid logic.
Yeah.
So if they don't, so all this money we've given to these people, it's not actually lowered anybody on these programs. It's actually increased people, right? So we're
Yeah.
actually just straight up wasting our money. But the logic is, well, some people are down their luck, and all these guys are fucking, innocent, sweet people that couldn't hurt a fly. These people are like, they know they're taking advantage of it, and they don't, like what you said before. I'm talking. They know they're doing it. They're intentionally doing these things to stay on it.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't get people. I really don't get people anymore. Like, in life now, apparently, no one can do bad, and if you point out the bad they're doing, then you're the bad person.
Well, that's
Ridiculous.
my thing is like, and this is good. The left wing is always going to be like, oh, it sounds you're sounding too or like you're going too hard about it. But like seriously, I like as a Christian, I love all people. I don't judge anybody based on like, oh, you're that skin color, therefore this, whatever. And I want to see see black people as a whole, and they're not a monolith like a lot of people are like, oh, well, the black vote. It's like, I mean, yeah, it skews a certain way most of the time, but it's like, especially I think nowadays, it's breaking up a lot. It's very decentralized. But like, I want to see black people as a whole succeed. Like, I want less single parent households. I want to see them all have good jobs where they can pay for a house that they own, not have to rely on government handouts or those kind of programs. White people too, Asians, Hispanics, everybody that comes in, Arabs. I don't want to see that for anybody. And I mean, if you're choosing to be on that, I feel sorry for you, because these are supposed to help you to do better. I had, like, my friend Greg was never able to afford a house, and you're from California?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. He lived in the Bay Area, and like,
oh, that's expensive. Holy
yeah,
shit.
he lived in a house with his mom had health issues, so he stayed there to kind of help her out. And his mom and his brother, his mom had to get assistance because she had health issues and like could barely walk. So she had to get disability, whatever. Which, by the way, somebody who's actually disabled and had tons of issues, they had to fight tooth and nail just to get her that assistance. But then I see somebody is like, well, I have depression, and it's just like, here's a fire hose of money. Like, I've seen that here and it's not just California, it's everywhere. But he could not, they rented the same house since he was born, because they were like, well, that's cheap and we don't want to move. Like, he couldn't afford to buy a house. He's like, if I want to buy a house making, like, I knew roughly what he made per year, which was, at the time, it was more than what I make. He's like, I have to move out of the state. And my buddy Don just sent me, he's trying to buy a place because he's been renting a house that out here in Ohio would, in the nicest area, would cost like 200 grand, is $1 million out there. I was blown away. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like, and I know it's California. You get to live, like, in Ohio, you're not, it's Ohio, whatever. Whereas California, you get the
What do you guys got? The
beautiful.
Bengals? That's it?
Well, I'm a Browns fan, not to,
yes. Oh, God. Maybe it's even worse.
yeah, but yeah, that's that's probably worse. But yeah, I mean, we've got stuff like amusement parks and whatever, but all in all, Ohio's not like a destination, whereas
Yeah,
California
it's like they're
is.
selling you on that lifestyle. It's all big, it's grand, you can meet, and your dream of being the biggest, baddest thing. The thing you said earlier, because I'm going to understand this. We both work. I know a lot of you guys work out there too. When people say things like this on food stamps, so they go, how am I going to support my kids without this? Let's just put it this way. We don't even know if we can do that with the money we make. And we work for that. There's one point pointed out that in spite of all of these hardships in life, you just end up doing it. Yeah, there's going to be months where you go without. There's going to be months where you struggle. But I think the main reason for a lot of this is that people just don't want to struggle. It's like, hey, to get to any point in life where you're like comfortable, and you know this too, because you're old as me. You're gonna have to struggle. Like, you can't avoid struggling in life. You're gonna be struggling at some point, whether you're in between jobs, like you said your dad was at one point, whether it's for any situation in life. But you do feel better about yourself to some degree when you know you've worked hard for what you've achieved, other than basically, hey, someone else gave it to me. Like, some people in life, middle class people, or when they all work, they don't know if they can actually, make ends meet. We just do it. I don't know what else to really
Yeah.
say to people. This being scared of adversity is the reason why they've never prospered, because they're scared of eventually having to struggle. Sorry, that's how life is. You're going to
Yeah.
struggle. There's no if, ands, or buts about that. That's just how life is. So if you don't want to struggle, that's cool. You can be on that. But at any point, you are at the mercy of, if this shuts down, you are screwed. You have nothing. And I
Yeah.
don't ever, and I never want to live like that. I want to know, going into, like you said, Costco, you have out there. I put you guys have Costco out there. You can go into Costco and you go, damn, I can buy Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
You know you can do that. You're not
Yep.
relying on anybody to do it for it. You can do it with your own money. That's the main thing.
Yep.
I wasn't battered by the government shutdown because, God forbid, I can just buy my own shit.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hated, and I mean, this is actual work, whatever. But I hated being a contractor because, and I talked to people. I worked with my very first IT contracting job, paid good money, and oh, give me 1 second. I need to make sure my dog's not getting into my cat food real quick. I'll be back
You're
in
good.
like 5 seconds.
You're good. You're good. So as he is getting his dog ready, because his dog is
Okay.
she's a loud girl. That's a loud dog you got there. Fucking hell. Make sure to get see, this thing, we can't call you racist. No one can, because you have black cats. You can say, hey,
Yeah.
my cats are black,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, I was telling you off air, everybody needs a black cat. If you don't believe me, if you like cats, they're very talkative, cuddly, like they get a bad rep in media, whatever, but they're
It's a superstition
fantastic.
of a black cat crosses you. That's like bad luck, but I don't believe in any of that
Yeah.
shit. Luck. You want to talk about luck? Fucking hell. Joe Biden was president at one point. That was luck. That sure wasn't anything based off any skill he had. Good lord.
Well, yeah, I was
Well, a
gonna
lot of
say.
cheating. A lot of cheating on that too. But
Yeah,
the thing you were saying
hey.
about contracting, what was that?
So the very first contracting job I ever had, the guy who was like, he wasn't my boss. He was like basically like he trained me for the first like week or two, and then like I would always refer to him if I had questions, whatever. Black guy, older than me, and he had been a contractor forever. He said he loved it because, but then again, he was single with no kids, and he was like, I can work for however long, bank the money, and take an unpaid vacation for a little bit, and then and he's like, oh, I'm thinking about they're offering me like $100,000 for a year to go out to New York City and work a job there, whatever, and he could come and go as he pleased, and a lot of people like that. But I'm like, I need health insurance. I need all this stuff, and I had health insurance through because I contracted through a company, and you could get insurance through them, but it's not as good as a contractor. And I don't know. There was I liked having guaranteed. I'm like, I know from week to week I'm gonna have this job. Like that job scared the crap out of me because supposedly we were contracted out till like the end of the year, and then like at the end of November they're like, actually we don't need you anymore, so like this is your last week. And I'm like, great. And then like my very next job, I was contracted for a month. They needed me for a week and a half, and then they're like, oh, don't come in tomorrow, we don't need you. I'm like, okay. And
Oh
they
shit.
it's at will. And that job sucked anyway because like I was working downtown Cincinnati. I had to park in a garage. I had to pay to park in a garage down the road and then huff my ass to the building and back. And it all sucked. But regardless, yeah, it's just contracting. A lot of people, like I said, love it, and it's a great life for some people. It got my foot in the door, and I never want to go back to it.
So the last few things I'll ask you, man, before you end up heading out of here is the first thing is, do you have anything planned coming up for the end of 2025 going into 2026 that you would like to let the audience know about?
Um, give me 1 second. Let my wife tried calling me, so I'm just letting
You
her
have a
know I'll call
wife?
her back
Oh
in a minute.
God, I have one of those too. Actually, I don't. It's just my couch,
Oh my god.
or it might be a
I
sock. Who
I would
knows?
make a JD Vance joke, but I'm so tired of seeing those.
Hey, JD's married to an Indian. If he ever says Americans stink, I'm like, hey, buddy, your wife's people, they reek. And I'm not even stereotyping. Indian people do not smell good. They come by my job all the time. They do not smell good at all.
As an Ohioan and just and everything, I've always been a JD Vance fan, and people are weird about him. I don't know, like
I don't mind him. I like him.
he seems like a normal. He seems like the most normal dude, and then like liberals are always like, oh, describing him as normal is weird. I'm like, you like Chuck Schumer, who took a very posed video putting cheese on raw burgers on the
Dude,
grill.
these people support that one guy. Oh my God. It's that white dude who's the girl. The white dude who's now a girl. Sarah
Sarah
something?
McBride.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sarah
McBride.
McBride.
I'm like, hey, if you're calling JD Vance weird and not normal, but you support Sarah McBride, I think you need to legitimately look in a mirror. And then if
Yeah,
that shit doesn't shatter, you're a demon. Just pointing out there.
yeah. I'm not it, and I'm fairly partisan on a lot of things, but I also like there are people in the Republican Party I don't like, and
Oh yeah,
there are
same here.
people
Yeah.
and the like with Trump, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're part of the MAGA cult, whatever." I'm like, I voted for the guy, but I'm not like I
The
don't
one
have a
person
picture
I
of him on my
thoroughly can't
mantle.
stand is Cat Turd. I actually
Oh my
can't stand that
god.
guy. He's
Yeah,
right. Dude is literally. He's one of those accounts. I don't know how he ever got as big as he did. It has to be for paid advertising on his own
yeah,
end. He'll say things like, "The sun is bright," and he'll get like 100K impressions. If I said the sun is bright, I'm probably getting like 5
yeah,
views in that tweet. I don't get people like that. It's like
yeah.
Twitter is weird. Like you have accounts like Cat Turds where they say the most basic shit. They'll say things like, "Do you think Batman Begins is a great superhero movie?" And it'll have like 100K impressions. If I said the same thing, it would get like 100. Like
Well,
that site is broken.
he bends over backwards for like I'm like, you don't have to like suck Trump's butt on everything, man. You can be like,
They give
maybe
you,
that wasn't such a good.
yeah,
He
yeah.
is a human. Like it, but him and his wife were also like they were on Rumble for like a minute and then they quit because they're like, well, we didn't instantly get 100,000 followers, and they're like crying on literally tears, crying on stream about it, trying to defend their actions. And I'm like, you people are pathetic. Like, I get it,
Oh
make your
my
bag,
god.
but good grief. Like, just say it.
Rumble
Be
doesn't
like,
have
well,
the reach, and
yeah,
Rumble for
Elon's
sure
paying me
has
more.
issues. Yeah, like I'm not streaming on Rumble until they fix their algorithm to make sure that content gets created in a way that other people can see it. And
Yeah,
I still upload the VODs there. I'm not gonna not upload there, but
right.
it's like that was the gayest thing ever. If you're a guy and you go on stream crying literal tears because you didn't get 100K followers while putting in no work in general, even though Rumble is very
Yeah,
hard to get followers, and Rumble, I get it, has a lot of issues. You're a
yeah,
legit bitch. You are
yeah.
you're the man. That's the problem. That I can see why girls wouldn't want a person like that crying literal tears because he didn't get a social media impression. That's
His
insane.
yeah, it just all those accounts like that, I'm just like, bleh. But
Oh my god, the ones like Elon's fucking hell, that Tiffany Wong chick, the one that Elon was trying to bang, so he boosted her Twitter
yeah,
account, so she just gets free money. It's like, oh my
Ashley
god.
St. Clair,
Yeah, yeah.
all the conserva thoughts, yeah.
What's crazy is what Ashley and Tiffany Ashley looks better. I don't know why Elon want the other one. The other one looks not good. Like
He wanted
straight
the
up
half
3 out of
Asian
10.
baby, I guess. I don't know.
Good
Half
Lord,
Asian
man.
super baby.
Just go to Panda Express for that shit, man. God
Oh man.
damn.
Uh yeah, he needs one of every color, all the shades of the rainbow.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So,
He has a defective one. He has a Looney Tune son, so he knows that's a
yeah.
defective one. So he has to make up for that one that's defective. This one came
Oh
out
man.
retarded, actually. You know?
Well, but sorry, I was reading the comments.
What? I haven't went to the gym today. No, I'll be honest. I'm supposed to go to the gym twice a week. I've been so busy. It's just not happened. I'm gonna make up for that. I'm old now. I'm broken. It's all over for me at this
Man,
point now.
I haven't been to the gym in 7 years, something like that. So, I mean, I need to I lift furniture on occasion, but that's about it. I need to get better about it. But uh yeah, I don't know. X is terrible. I just got into it today with people. It's been a 2-day thing because somebody made a Luigi Mangione reference,
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
and I was like, "You guys are gross." And I got dogpiled because I said murder is bad. Like, and they're like, "Oh, lick the boots of Big Pharma." I'm like, I don't care about these companies. In fact, I think most of these companies are garbage. But
Mhm.
murder is bad. Can we all agree on that?
Mhm.
Like, but apparently not. And I replied to somebody, I'm like, "It's really weird that in 2025, the most controversial thing I can say on X is murder bad. Don't kill people."
Yeah, the Looney Tune ones are the worst. Where literally I just said, "No, you are just a lying moron. You are just pretending to be a
Yeah.
woman." And then I said something along the lines of like, "If you use pronouns, you're a moron." I'm sorry. If I see a account on Twitter that has pronouns, I know I'm about to hear the most absolute, most retarded dog shit in the world. Just
Yeah.
get ready. Link. Hey, my oppressed blah 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 is gonna happen. But yeah, man, did you have anything planned coming up for the end
Yeah.
of this year going into 2026? You want to let the audience know about?
Yeah. I mean, I don't I kind of plan as I go sort of thing.
Mhm.
Some stuff I'm working on right now. I do a thing. I don't do the full Marks on Media, or I mean Main Event Marks podcast anymore, but in the vein of Main Event Marks, Greg and I used to love Dark Side of the Ring, if anybody's seen that on Vice TV.
Mhm.
Uh, and I love wrestling documentaries or whatever. And I do my own little miniature version of that called Dark Side of Wrestling History, where I try to pick 3 to 4 figures or events or something and do a video on them. And it's like I had somebody else compared to like E True Hollywood Story kind of deal,
Mhm.
whatever. But it's got like, sad music playing, whatever. And I don't go in depth. It's like usually 3 minutes, whatever. In sometimes I'll go a little longer depending on what the issue is, but about 3 minutes or less. I focus on. It's like they did this, these bad things happened in their personal life and
Mhm.
or career and whatever. And I've got video playing over it and all that. And I don't get super in depth with a lot of it, just because it's like a quick synopsis and I can cut it up for shorts as well. But they're all posted on Rumble and on YouTube. I did one last week. If anybody follows wrestling at all, I've got like, there were two pretty gnarly plane crashes involving wrestlers in 1975 that involved a lot of like career-ending injuries and one death. I covered that, and it kind of, if you listen to my explanation, it kind of sparked Ric
Mhm.
Flair's career to become what he was. The curtain call, the infamous curtain call in MSG in 1997, and then AEW Brawl Out, where CM Punk got into a
Mhm.
fight. I cover both of his major all out fights from AEW and kind of the end of his career there. Um, and then coming up, I forget what the subject of my next one is. I got it right here. It's I usually post them on Wednesdays, Thursdays if I'm a little slow with it. I cover like basically, if anybody knows the history of WCW, it's like it started off as like Jim Crockett Promotions, and then it went into like just NWA and WCW, and then it died. And I was gonna do a little like for each era, kind of a downfall, and I've got some other ones coming up, but media wise, one of them is more manly than the other, but the other one kind of fits this time of year. Uh, one of them I just did one on how movies are actively getting worse, and I go in depth into why. It's a longer video,
Okay.
and I talk about the over reliance on CGI and all that kind of stuff. Even starting, not even recently, but just starting in like the 2010s and on up. And then I'm going to do one about video games as well coming up. That one's going to be a longer one. And then the longest one of all is actually it's a case study on the main character Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. It doesn't sound very manly, and it's not, but I kind of break down her whole character and why she's not a good person throughout the whole show.
Mhm.
So even if you're a dude and you never watched Gilmore Girls, like it's going to be in depth. That show is insanely popular. I had no idea until recently. Just like that show, my mom watched it, my sister watched it. I watched it with my wife. She's a big fan of it, but it's really huge. So I recorded the audio. It's just shy of 20 minutes. It's going to be one of my longest videos ever for the Marks on Media. But,
yeah. Next time you come on for a second appearance, we got to talk about your books and we got to talk about video games too, and a little bit more of a movie discussion too. Because usually with the first appearance, I like to have it more of as like an origin story and how you came into making content. So the last thing I'll ask you, man, is do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Just me, I've got a YouTube and Rumble page, and then if you want to check out the audio archives anywhere you get podcasts, look up Main Event Marks. You'll see a logo. It looks like it's it kind of looks spray painted on a like a concrete background. It's red, white, and blue. It says Main Event Marks. It's based on like Saturday night's Main Event. So, and if you go back, it was only about a month ago I did a video on if people want like a political take on it. It's less about his politics and more about what he said in this stupid video. But Nick Fuentes went on a stupid rant about because somebody called him out for hating Lord of the Rings and liking Game of Thrones, and he responded like an angry 12-year-old, and I just rip into his ass about it. And the fact that, and other people pointed out, because he kept talking about you like little gay hobbits and whatever, and talking about it. Didn't they make the wizard gay? Which they didn't. But and people were pointing out, they're like, dude, if your problem is homosexuality, I got some news for you about Game of Thrones, man. But yeah, so I went into a kind of a watch and react video about that as well. So
hell yeah, man. So can't wait to have you on for a second appearance later in 2026. I forgot you are a very busy person. Goddamn, man. You have too many cats. Gotta narrow it down to just two black cats. That's it.
Oh,
and well, you have the dog is
don't put
supposed to
that on
protect
me.
you, because if you ever got your house burglarized, the cats ain't protecting you. That's the thing. The dog will actually.
Yeah. Well, the litter boxes might drive them away. So
Good Lord. And what's so crazy is, hey, if someone breaks into someone's house, apparently you can't hurt them. You just have to just, I don't know, play tea party with them. It's like, if any of you actually believe that, you're morons.
depending on the state.
True. It's like, fucking hell, man. If you do that in California, you're probably going to get rewarded, because doing bad here just rewards just being a bad person. But yep, we will. So as you guys are watching this episode, probably do another game stream at some point, or just have a MSK show episode later on tonight. We have the panel show tonight. So yep. Thank you guys for checking out this